Hello everybody, my name's Mike. We're going to be doing a speedrun of Glittermitten Grove today. Glittermitten Grove is a fairy resource building, city builder management game. Hard to put to words the actual genre, but if that doesn't necessarily sound that interesting to you, please hold on. This category is called All Symbols, which seems very strange for a cute simulation game. If there was an incentive for the name of the village, it'll show up a couple of times. We can call it Geodude. Why not? Whatever. All right. And time is starting in 3, 2, 1, go. Now it starts off pretty quick. There's a lot of stuff we can do right off the bat here. I saw some crystals further down, so I'm gonna launch some fireworks down there. I'm gonna plant another plant here. I'm gonna chop down that tree. I'm gonna make a torch, and I am holding out to see if they, no? Oh, I completely whiffed it on those crystals. So since we didn't collect any extra crystals, I am going to instead do that. I'm going to build a sparkle hut. I'm going to build a house, because these fairies could probably use somewhere to sleep. And now we're sort of playing this game of waiting for the food meter to fill up to 5, casting light with that food, which unfortunately we're just kind of stealing it from the fairies, but that's all done in the name of going fast, I suppose. And building more torches here. There's a certain depth that we're trying to get to, about 4.5 torches deep, to get to some interesting resources that'll make our fairy village progress a lot faster. We have a fairy friend named Titania. She occasionally pops up with little messages. Welcome to Geodude. And wait for that number to go up to 5. Come on. Yeah. Oh, nope. The fairy's actually 8. There we go. All right. Sometimes there are rocks in the way. We've got a pretty good spawn so far, but I'm not gonna count my chickens before they explode here. There we go. We have these sparkles, which are generated from this prism when the sun is shining on it. And the sparkles are used to shoot fireworks, which dig this giant hole in the ground, which we are using to try and get to that depth to activate the next part of the game here. We are usually supposed to be building pantries and wood sheds and all that stuff, but we are forgoing that for the sake of this next piece of progression. And it should be, no, not quite yet. Okay, one more torch depth. Ought to be there. I gotta tell them not to gather any more crystals or even wood at this point. We just need food, we just need torches. And we need faster moving fairies. Come on. No? Yeah? There should be a thing we can click on here. 2 fairies have arrived! Hey! Maybe they can finish building this. And there appears to be a door down here. Hey everybody, my name's Mike. We're doing a speedrun of Text World. Text World is an action-adventure sort of game based on an old DOS game called ZZT, made by Tim Sweeney, creator of Epic Games. And there are a lot of things you can do in it. It's got some interesting movement mechanics. I just unlocked something called the autocorrect skates, and right now I'm doing a little bit of a dance to try and dodge these gorillas. The club symbols are gorillas. There's a punch yourself button, which you can hold, and it will respawn you at the screen entry that you just entered from. Now, this person I've walked around twice here is based on Mido from Ocarina of Time, so he doesn't want to let us through if we don't have a sword. We can just run around him, and now I'm about to touch this Mind Stone. Hey everybody, my name's Mike, and I am doing a speedrun of Toaster Derivatives. Toaster Derivatives is a game based on Flappy Bird and Cookie Clicker, and the goal of this game, you gotta fly through 5 pipes and pick up an item, and then crash and die. And you may be wondering at this point, we were just in a fairy village. What is happening? This was supposed to be the quaint fairy metropolis of Geodude. And now we're playing this. Well, there was a game called Frog Fractions a while back. It starts out, you're a frog eating bugs and fractions appear. And then through a series of strange circumstances, there's a courtroom drama minigame. You wind up becoming the president of Mars, stuff like that. People enjoyed it. and they kickstarted a sequel called Frog Fractions 2. Frog Fractions 2, the Kickstarter turned into this huge ARG. People were getting shipped crates with stuff written in blacklight ink. There was a hacked Luigi amiibo that revealed a secret code to a website you could unlock the next piece of the puzzle in. There were secret symbols hidden in about 24 completely unrelated indie games. It was a great time. And eventually it led to the discovery and the release of a huge update for this game, Glittermitten Grove, which was just on Steam, this unassuming thing. And eventually people discovered, okay, this is Frog Fractions 2. Well, the devs have come out and said, no, Frog Fractions 2 is the whole ARG. This is Frog Fractions 3, which is still considered part of Frog Fractions 2. It's all weird, but yeah, so it's just this odd mishmash of genre-bending minigames. Now we're actually going to show this guy our sword now that we have one. So there you go, and we've shown our sword. We're going to go through this warp here to the sewer blimp. Did I explain the autocorrect skates? I think I just kind of tapered off. They let you corner a little bit faster. The way you move is you hold an arrow key and it moves you in a certain direction. But it takes a little while to wind up for that. And if you have to change directions, it can be fairly slow. Now we got to kill all these cockroaches. So the autocorrect skates make it so that you're basically always moving at that max speed, or at least if you hold the same direction when you hit a wall, it'll automatically turn you. But that can be a little bit finicky to maneuver. And there we go. Now we're at Age Gate, where we have to enter our age to get to the next minigame. And to do that, we have to solve a bunch of trivia questions from 1895, which are sometimes a bit hard to memorize. Now this is Spaxrus, which is super passive-aggressive xenomorph roommate irritation simulator, whereby we are trying to be the worst roommate possible, get this guy to move out. He's gonna be spitting acid all over our stuff. I don't know. We're just kind of this horrible guy doesn't like these xenomorphs. He's trying to make do. He's trying to study for a law degree. He's trying to get the alien bar exam or whatever. But unfortunately, we have gotten him to move out. So now we are doing a stealth segment. There are a bunch of alternate overworlds to the game that you encounter through normal gameplay. We'll be going through a few of them, but not necessarily every piece of the game will be represented in this run. There are still a lot of good surprises. We're going to pick up a grenade here and throw it, except then it turns out that it's not a grenade, it's actually just a pear. So it just splats on the wall, but it does distract the guards enough that it is still beneficial to do so. That is some good RNG for those cops. We are going up here, we're going up here, and hopefully we are fast enough to get the symbol. Yes. I'll explain a little bit later what all the symbols are that I'm collecting. You see I've got 2 of them now. But first we got Chess Invaders. Now Chess Invaders is a great time for some donations, if this was a marathon, which it's currently not, but who knows. In lieu of donations, I can't explain the mechanics of this game. It's an active time chess battle where you can move your piece, and then there's a cooldown before you can move it again, instead of it being turn-based. It follows the standard rules of chess. There are a couple of fancy chess moves like castling you can do. I missed it. And this game is basically an auto-scroller. You have to wait 2.5 minutes for the item that we're waiting for to appear. And once it does, then we have to have something in the left column that can collect it. So that's our secondary goal here, is we have to survive. We have to make sure our king does not get eaten, which he's about to. There we go. My queen ate that bishop. I choose to interpret chess moves as the characters eating each other. There we go. I will surround my king with a couple extra pawns here, and yeah, I'll do that. Yeah, and so when the 2.5 minute mark hits, that's the best time to have some stuff in that left column, like I said. if you promote a pawn, it lets you increase the limit, the number of each piece that you can spawn. And you can spawn any piece that you've collected from the enemy team, based on the number of that piece that you've collected from them. Ew. Come on. There it goes. Okay. So we've collected the bridge from the Atari game Adventure, which is a new overworld item we've got on Text World here. We can use that to bridge across certain gaps, and we have to get a key for the next segment, so we go to the key gen, which of course, as is tradition with key gens, plays a sweet chiptune and a bunch of confusing text. So now we are back at the starting point. We've got a few quick save and quit strats that we implement throughout the game, and I just collected another one of these symbols. The symbols are used at the end of the game. We have to talk to a frog and get the frog to give us one final symbol, which activates the final gauntlet here. The symbols are in a frog, in the language that this frog speaks. They each represent a different word. Now I gotta remember to collect a whole bunch of gems here. Excellent, okay. Yeah, I have to max out my gem wallet. Because the gems, they have collision. If your wallet is maxed out, you're not able to progress past them. And we need that for something going forward. We also need to have an orange key, which, as you can see, I just knocked over a bucket of paint and have painted all of my keys orange. So that will be useful for later. And we are now in the cathedral. We have to dodge a couple of lasers. This screen has gravity, which is a fun tweak to the formula. We gotta dodge some lasers, dodge some bullets. It is a very chaotic cathedral. Oh, and I messed up some of the timing and did not get the symbol. There we go. Okay, cool. If we collect that green key at the bottom, oh, hang on. Yep. Okay. And minigame. Sorry, I'll explain that in a sec. This is Barber Pole Position. It's a minigame where we do this for a little while. And if you want, we can have an incentive to do a bit of this game where we... Yeah, sorry, that was a little bit chaotic. I just wanted to demonstrate the different instruments that could be played in that segment as part of another possible incentive. We didn't want to have this green key collected before because you see that has to act as a platform, and if we have the green key, then it will collect, it'll activate those doors and we won't be able to get to this minigame. So next up, we have to get to Loma Manager. Loma is shorthand for Lord Management, which is an alternate name that some people have used in the past for MOBAs, genre for Dota and League of Legends, stuff like that. So right off the bat, we have to type Absamajata, which is my shorthand for setting all of the characters as quickly as possible. They have all of these different stats. They have skill levels, they have energy levels that go down over time. And the skill levels are somewhat important. Our main goal in this minigame is to lose as quickly as possible, and we have surprisingly little control over how that goes. Playing as optimally as I could, it took about 3 minutes. Playing as badly as I could, as optimally as I could, took about 2 minutes. It's mostly RNG, but there are a couple of things we can do to mitigate that such as remembering which of these characters has the lowest skill level and setting up all of our characters as quickly as possible, regardless of which ones we pick. If one of our players' internet cuts out, then we will need to swap them out. Otherwise, nothing else here really matters. Their energy can go to 0. They can die in game. All that stuff can happen. All I gotta know is slot in a character from, there we go, and SB, boom, yeah. But this game would also be a good spot for some more donations, if that is a factor in a marathon setting. There could also be an incentive for barber pole position, which I would call barbershop quartet, where we take the extra few seconds to set up 4 microphones and have player characters for all 4 of the different cars in that minigame. Let's see, A is next. Nah. If you collect all the symbols in Text World, you unlock something called, you unlock the dev room, basically. So there is an in-game reason why we would collect all of them. When you collect one symbol, it's yellow. If you collect a second version of the same symbol, there are 2 of each, then it is purple, and you hear what we call a corn story. You will see what those are as this run progresses. Now we're in another alternate overworld called Bomb Heck. And we are having pretty good luck with these bomb spawns. They spawn in any blank space on the board.
Needing quick cash to pay for a sick new tattoo, Corn PHP ninja Todd Repmoggle formed a crack team to rob the Belvedere, Maryland municipal water treatment plant. The team wore baklava on their heads because Todd had read a WikiHow article exhorting it as the most effective way to hide your face from security cameras.
Yeah.
Police tracked down Todd and his
The autocorrect skates can be a little bit hard to maneuver if you get stuck in a corner like that.
In
I'm sorry for cutting you off, but...
Korn lead singer Gary Glitter shared an uncomfortable elevator ride with a fan. Korn cellist Georgios Papanikolaou invented a new breakfast cereal and spent millions of
And
dollars.
here we can go around this
marketing
corner.
it
There we go. Okay.
When informed that a very
So now we're in Shaving Story.
trademarked, marketing inertia only allowed him to change a single letter of the name while retaining brand recognition. He ended up
Where we
with
go through some
different in each region.
important
Korn in America.
moments in presidential shaving history,
Korn Pass
specifically throughout the life of Barack Obama.
of obstetricians in the Czech Republic.
This game is also functionally an auto-scroller. It does not matter how well or badly you wind up shaving this head here. You always want to have the shaving cream, because if you don't, then you get like these little cuts, which is generally true in real life. Depends on your razor. Ah, see, I got a couple on the jawline there. We got 8 seconds. Yeah, so this one goes through 4 or 5 different segments. It's about 4.5 minutes that we can't really speed up or skip. Wow, that goes much higher than any hair on my face. And the only thing we can do to speed it up is just kind of mash buttons here. So get a little RPG intro and outro in each segment. So now's a great time for some donations if anyone's got them. If this was a marathon run, that's what we do. That would be the way to go about it. But for now, I think I'm gonna do it. I like to keep a little bit around the chin. I've set up a bowl here. Oh! There's a bomb on the presidential tour bus. Oh, except it's blinking 12. They didn't actually set the timer on it. Also, you can get the bomb a bunch of little cuts too, by not using enough shaving cream. So, I'm sorry, bomb, I guess, or not. You gotta go good on the neck, otherwise you just... That's not as close as it could be. It's just a razor, you know. It's just the electric one, right? But they'll do in a pinch. Yeah, that's about as good as we can hope. I'll have to wash out that bowl a bit later. Oh, a little bit on the desk, but let me fix that up here. Now, shortly after this game, there's going to be another minigame that we'll be entering, which is Spaxorus New Game Plus. There's a New Game Plus to the Bad Roommate minigame that we need to do in order to get one of the symbols. And a bit of a warning, I'll try to warn again closer to it. There's a lot of visual glitching. It might be rough for people with photosensitivity, so there's a bit of a heads up there. I've got to make sure that I'm ready to actually get back into this game here. There's a lot of save and quit tech we can do. This one, it's not very safe to do a save and quit out of because it actually locks you out of getting an item that you'd typically need. Oh, really? Menuing? Come on, there we go. Sometimes your mouse is on the screen in a bad position. I'm recollecting all my stuff. We've still got the candle that we collected during Bomb Heck, and here's the frog room. This is the frog that we're going to be talking to, that little O with the umlaut there. So anyway, we exit there, and then we're supposed to be getting this cyan key and this alarm clock item. The clock will automatically set you back to your starting position, like to the starting room, and
they were disqualified when they guested together
and remove all of your items. And you have to quickly set it to PM so that the alarm doesn't go off and do that. Usually you would go into a side room and turn off the alarm entirely, but you can actually just change the clock and it will allow you to bypass that alarm mechanic.
In 1992, Corn veterinarian Cat.
There we go. And this next minigame unlocks at 12:30 p.m., which we have thankfully routed out to be, yeah, there we go, just now. So pretty good timing on that. Now first we're gonna go pick up some ketchup. Our next roommate, Dave here, is a Slender Man, which is, I don't know if that's a species or just a descriptor, but there you go. We can bother him by constantly touching his guitar and spilling ketchup on all of his stuff. And if you exit out of this game when it's done too quickly, the screen glitching will continue forever and make the game basically unplayable. So come on, Dave, one more thing. Yeah, there we go, we good? Okay, so we gotta be, unfortunately, a little bit slow going out of that game just to be extra safe. Now we're gonna set the clock, yeah, there we go, again to, yeah, that's a pretty good time, 5:40. Because we are collecting all of the remaining symbols, hearing all the remaining corn stories, before we finally go and chat with that frog.
Roberts decided it was time to pull the Sega Genesis out of his closet and finally beat Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Go Sonic!
Of Korn's single, Jungle Bells, Rolling Stone reviewer Sergio Van Lukenstein thought especially highly of the B-side, Falling Water, writing that including an entire house with the album is of great pragmatic as well as artistic value to the listener. Opinion. Korn's VP of Marketing, Fritz Plath, decided to debut Korn's new single by hijacking the transatlantic MIDI cable and broadcasting the song on all 16 channels.
These are shortcuts that you will unlock by collecting a compass item that we know about the shortcuts, so we don't need to collect. So because of that, we're able to skip a few different mini games we would otherwise have to play.
In 1952, Korn physical therapist Rutherford B. Haploid started dating his twin twins. Wanting to be equitable, he bought a drafting table and a slide rule. Korn double bassist Warren Gamaliel Harding kept taking the Kornmobile out to run personal errands and not filling up the tank.
Okay, there we go.
To teach him a lesson, the gang secretly began following him while
You have to have your sword in a very particular position to get through some of these rooms. Not everyone realizes you can kill these turrets.
Flashbig shipping him with polymath Paul Erdo. Right before turning 40, Korn sous chef Elsinore Barrier Reef petitioned Congress to raise. Receiving a pallet of boxes from Coca-Cola Corporation, Korn argued over what to call it. Turntable
There we go.
Played Clapham, called it Pop. Water foam players
Can also sometimes be hard to get on top of or below this bridge, but thankfully we no longer need it.
Just said, "Da." Pyrotechnics expert
Now I'm missing a symbol.
Sugar Fizzy, and circuit vendor Dallas Hoppelhorn called it Diet Sugar Fizzy.
Oh right. Okay, okay. Yeah, that's not too bad. Let me go back here. Oh, except I gotta get the bridge back. Never mind, we do need the bridge. Just a second, I have to correct a missing symbol. You know, 12-second detour. Not nothing too world-shattering, but a little bit of clumsiness on my part. There we go. Now we're back.
Studio session, Korn backup dancer Ariel Helvetica
Clear all the Titania's messages there.
chicken wing in the nearby KFC.
And we are,
When bassinet player
excuse me,
Garbanzo Gorbachev
in the frog room. Okay. So we throw the frog a pair, and we start telling it, move the blue crate, get the blue key, use the red crate, and a gorilla shows up. Tell the frog, give the gorilla the pear, and we are out of here. Because we have to knock over a couple of plants in this office. There we go. The symbol's always in the second plant there, and the gorilla has left because it got the food it wanted. And the frog gets an angry phone call from its wife saying, I don't even want pears for dinner. And so we tell the frog, okay, your wife's a cat, she can eat your pet fish for dinner. And now we've got the water symbol. We tell the frog, go across the water. And yes, we have the final symbol, except, what's that little yellow one on there? We are in the final gauntlet. We will be able to collect that last symbol along the way.
Korn Master Sergeant John Jacob Christmas owed too much money on taxes, and his accountant informed him he needed to have a teen child pronto. Christmas started dating daytime soap star Monica Cruz, figuring that her fast-aging kid on the show was a result of speedy genetics. Unfortunately, sneaking into a neighboring farm, Korn gaffer Bjorn Bloomingdale misread the no trespassing sign as no traipsing, and assumed that as long as he walked solemnly and deliberately, the guard dogs wouldn't attack. At the hospital, doctors reassured him that a dog's mouth is cleaner than a human.
Dang, autocorrect skates. So all these rooms have their own little gimmicks. Some of them have these bombs, some of them are combos of multiple gimmicks. This room has the, like, ice puzzle, you know, automatically sliding thing going on with it. And we are getting some really bad bomb spawns. Heads up to everybody, all these remaining screens here have a bit of glitchy visuals, which might, again, be a photosensitivity concern. There we go. You can honk your horn when you're the snake. Which I believe is a Duke of Hazzard reference. Now, the sewer blimp said limb spewer. Sometimes it says rebel wimps. For some reason, at this point of the game, it always has a different acronym printed on it. Well, it's usually got the same couple acronyms. Anyway, time is coming very soon. Next screen, I will say time. And 30 minutes and 5 seconds is pretty solid. Record's just under 29 minutes, so that's not too bad. And here I'd probably want to ask about a possible incentive called Destroy the Village. I'll follow up on that in a sec. Generally, I would be thanking the creators, Twinbeard Studios and mostly Tiger Proof Games, you know, friends, the Frog Fractions speedrunning community who has started to embrace this run. When I started, I sat on this game for like 6 years, and no one made a speedrun page for it. It was some wild stuff. I played through this thing, and I was thinking, this is a phenomenal speed game. So if you're sitting around, if you're thinking, I don't know if I want to get into speedrunning, you can get a de facto world record if you're playing a game that doesn't have anything. That's always fun to have under your belt. And you can create a speedrun page of your own. So if we did, if we didn't have an incentive to continue, I'd probably end it around here. I'd explain, okay, the assistant to the assistant directors are all Kickstarter backers, and that's how they framed them. But if we had an incentive for destroying the village, I would be going back. I would be fast forwarding through these credits. Pretty soon it should appear. There should be a fast forward button. So I can be in the ponds with you. And so we'll skip through the credits because, again, there are, you know, thousands of backers, and each of them are listed in this incredibly time-consuming, bizarre way. Although that actually cut off quite a bit faster than I would have expected. I was hoping to spawn back in. Okay, nope, can't pause. We'll wait for it to catch up. Maybe it's just being a little laggy though. That's pretty quick for year 3. Wow. Yeesh. Okay, time's moving pretty quick. Usually there's a whole thing where in winter you got to stockpile a bunch of food so that the fairies don't starve when the trees all die. Boy. Wow, butterflies, eh? Yep. Okay, sure. There were a few codes you can type that I was planning to show off. You can type what is it? Abacab or something like that. And it will activate some goofy looking. All the trees will start shooting blood. You can type "oh no" with 2 O's, and all the fairies will explode into fireworks. You can activate God mode for the ground, meaning you can't dig anymore. There are a bunch of shortcuts to gain extra resources. Yeah, it's still going, huh? Huh? The controls have gone away. Uh-oh. And we got quite the remixed soundtrack going on here, huh? Yowza. Get this back off here. Oh! It's done! Well, we got a little message here. Let me see. I have some bad news about your trees. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks, Titania. Well, with that, I think I can safely say that the village has been destroyed, so that would fulfill that incentive if it were a factor. I think it's been a pretty fun run, and thanks to any marathons that will pick it up. Good night, stream.